You ready to go?
Yeah. Okay. So when you call the
co-chairman is the immediate chairman of the committee, and all the members of the committee are here to see the rights of our Senator
So, good morning, welcome. This is Cool TV. We're here in the chambers of the Liberian Senate. Public Works Minister designate Roland Giddings.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the Senate Standing Committee on Public Works. Today is the confirmation hearing of Honorable Roland Giddings, Minister of Designate, Minister of Public Works and Rural Development.
Honorable President, distinguished senators, Honorable Minister Designate, please permit me. I will be praying. Please permit me to read the scripture and then just challenge you, and then I'll pray.
So far it's so good.
We'll read for the book of
Matthew
chapter 7, verses 16 to 20.
About Tokwachi.
Ye shall know them by their
Co-chair
fruits.
is Senator Edwin
Do men gather grapes of
the immediate past chairman of this committee. Senator Zoe Malapin of Grantee Association, Senator Nathaniel Fanwa is here, Senator Jonathan Boja Seboy is also here, Senator Boto Khan is here, Senator Francis Toko is here, Senator Creighton Duncan. All of these senators are all here. Let's go to the podium for the prayer.
Fruit is sheared down and cast into the fire. 20. Wherefore, by their fruit ye shall know them. Honorable Minister Designate, I just want to ask some questions. Who will you serve? Will you serve? Don't answer my question. Will you serve the public? Who will you serve? Will you serve the public or yourself? Note that if you serve yourself, then you'll be producing bad fruit. But if you serve the public as public work minister, you'll be producing. If you serve the Liberian people and the nations wholeheartedly with great conscience and be sincere about your duty, if confirmed, then you produce good fruit. But if you serve yourself, then you produce bad fruit. I have never seen the great man, one who also have great regard for getting vexed. But permit me to just say something quickly, then I'll pray. One time he was so vexed when the minister at the time came here with for some inquiry, and then he was saying something that was not true. And that was my first time seeing this great young man of our time getting vexed. Because he was saying something that he was aware of, and it was not true. I want you to not be that type of minister. Do the work of the people. Do the work of the public. Do the work of our nation, if confirmed. May God bless you to do so. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for the great men of our time, Lord. They have come to perform their duty. Give them the wisdom and the understanding, Lord, to perform well. That God, from there, they will draw that conclusion, Lord, to confirm or deny. Bless them to do so. Guide them to do so. In Jesus' name we pray.
Sergeant, please qualify the witness.
So, Captain Tieto will now qualify the witness, true and all, following that.
I, Roland Giddings, Minister of Public Works, designate
a bona fide citizen of the Republic of Liberia,
a bona fide citizen of the Republic of Liberia,
do hereby swear
do hereby swear
that the testimony I'm about to give
that the testimony I'm about to give
to recollection
to my recollection
is the truth
is the truth
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Roger?
Thank you.
Witness, thank you.
Thank you. I'll ask senators to introduce themselves. I think we'll start with Senator Snow, and we'll go this way.
Evan Snow, Senator of Fulton County, co-chair of the Public Works.
And Albert will chair. Ibn past President pro tempore, now chair of the Committee on Public Works, because of the importance we Liberians, especially Southeasterners, attach to infrastructure. Senator Snow, in the 54th legislature, he was the chair, so I asked him that I want to take over that responsibility so that people can know that this committee and that position, Minister of Public Works, with the Southeasterners, attach too much importance to it.
Chair, I'm Senator Francis Senator for the second, Senator of Liberia County, member of the Committee on Public Works.
Old Man Duncan, Senator of Designate County. Just as the truth said, our eyes are on the Sabine Road. Thank you.
I, retired Representative Slash, Senator Zoe Manapen of Grand Giddings County, member of Public Works Committee.
Senator Boto Kane of Fulton County, member of this committee.
I'm Jonathan Bochasole, and I represent the people of Liberia.
I am the Senator Simeon de Poinantilo of Bank-Kimon County, the members of this committee.
Okay. So I will ask Senator, sorry. Yes, Senator Topo to read the protocol for the hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Distinguished Senator, as per today's protocol, the nominee is given 15 minutes at most to make the presentation, after which the committee members will have each 10 minutes to interact with the nominee, followed by other senators here at the hearing. And the public, if having any concern or question, you forward that to the committee chair through the sergeant. There will be no clapping during this hearing. Thank you.
hearing by
I want to
Senator
make a small announcement
Francis
as per the
Saleh
agenda.
Dugu.
The Constitution says for certain positions the President shall nominate and the Senate must give its consent. So we have a series of procedures. The confirmation hearing is just one of the procedures, one of the processes we have to go through. We have received some complaints from members of the public, from some members of the Engineering Association, from some citizens concerning the nominee. Today we are having the confirmation hearing. But the confirmation hearing is not the end. After the hearing, we'll go to the committee room and we'll look at all the complaints, and depending on what we see, depending on our evaluation, we could invite the minister designate out of committee room to see how we can answer some of those complaints, or major let it be, depending on the gravity. So for those who have complained, the minister we want to let you know that we're not sweeping your complaints under the carpet. We'll look at the complaints with the confirmation hearing, just one of the processes. That's what I wanted to announce. I will now ask Senator Snow, the former chair of this committee and the current vice chair, to make introductory remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Except that the agenda says opening remarks. So, but Mr. Chair, thank you very much. When I was appointed to this committee, reappointed as vice chair, and my chair happened to be my former immediate boss, former pro tem, who served the Liberian Senate with distinction for 6 years, or any conflict or any chaos. I felt it was an honor that veteran, the astute administrator, was chairing the committee that I once chaired. And today again, I want to reiterate, Mr. Chairman, fullest cooperation in working with you to move this committee forward. Mr. Nominee, I want to take this time to welcome you to the chambers of the Liberian Senate as you face your confirmation hearing. I personally believe that you are wearing you have been asked, pending the Senate consent, to wear the biggest shoes in the White House government. The Holy Bible has 10 commandments. And of the 10 commandments, there's only one commandment God gave with a promise behind it: to honor your mother and your father so that your days will be long. I say this to say that with all of the promises that the White House administration had made, or the rescue team made, there was one that gave timeline to say in 100 days, no car will hitch on any major road. 84 more days left of the 100 days. And we are about to confirm or to hear you on your vision. It's our hope of this committee that you will understand the magnitude of the post that you are trying to occupy. I wish you a successful hearing. Like the chairman said, based on the outcome where decision will be made pending plenary vote. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Vice Chair. I will now invite the Honorable Minister Designate Roland Giddings to lay out his vision, his plans, and put our worry at ease. So, Mr. Designate.
Thank you, Honorable Senators. Honorable Chair of the Senate,
I really didn't want to write talk.
Thank you. So, Honorable Chair of the committee, Senator Albert Chair, the co-chair, Honorable Melvin Snow, and other distinguished members of the committee, the press that's here today with us, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Liberians. Permit me to firstly give God the glory for allowing us to assemble here today. And I also like to appreciate His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Newman Parker, who has selected me to be designated as the Minister of Public Works and Rural Development. I am an enthusiastic and very professional person who enjoy driving agendas, as well as leading an insightful and motivated team to achieve established goals. I'm very quick to adjust to new ideas and apply innovative solutions to solving contemporary problems. I am a self-starter and a very committed and achieving person, and have the interests of the general good of society as a core value. I'm currently the Chief Executive Officer of Liberia Services Incorporated, which is a management consultancy firm that conducts several studies in marketing research, investment advice, business development, project development plans, and also other management consultancy. I hold an undergraduate degree in management, money, economics with distinction from the African Methodist Episcopal University in 2001, and graduated from the Wuhan University of Science and Technology in China, Master's Specialty Marketing in 2006. I have, to my credit, 11 years of professional experience in the public sector, specifically in the infrastructure sector, with emphasis on project troubleshooting, coordination, monitoring, and evaluation. From 2007 to 2018, I served in several capacities: Program Assistant at the Liberia Reconstruction Development Committee Secretary, a unit in the presidency which was responsible to draft, launch, and coordinate the poverty reduction strategy, which put Liberia on the stage of recovery. While at the LRDC Secretary, I also served as a research associate in a comprehensive study on Liberia and China engagement sponsored by Rockefeller Foundation, the African Center for Economic Transformation based in Accra, Ghana, in collaboration with Barclay Incorporated, a Liberian consultancy firm. I've acquired several professional certificates in policy and practices, managing special economic zone, national debt strategy, and also loan negotiation techniques from Crime Agent Debt Relief International. Having served in this capacity, I was hired again to manage the Economic Secretary of the Government of Liberia in 2009, a unit responsible to coordinate and formulate economic policy and revision and adjustment where necessary to stimulate economic growth. In 2009, under the World Bank project, the Urban Rural Infrastructure Rehabilitation Project, the President's Delivery Unit was established, responsible to coordinate and deliver on strategic project, national infrastructure, as defined by the President at the time. And that was to bring lasting results to the development of our national infrastructure, roads, energy, ports, seaports, water sanitation, and as well as construction relating to public building. And the ministerial complex in the annex of this legislature was one of the projects that I worked with. In 2014, I was then, having served in the presidency for 7 years in various strategic positions, was appointed as Deputy Minister for Administration at the Ministry of Public Works, responsible to perform and coordinate administrative activities, including financial management and control, monitoring and evaluation, system reporting to ensure accountability and transparency of project financing, procurement, budget implementation, human resource activities, physical asset management, resettlement action planning implementation, and I was the chair for the Internal Reform Committee with focus on payroll restructuring, the establishment of the Rural Fund, leading to the development of a draft act, which will have also established the road authority. And this is something that I'm committed to. The Ministry of Public Works was also supposed to be transformed to what you call the National Infrastructure Ministry to focus on policy, standards, and regulation. And that's something that I'm committed to. In addition to my extracurricular activities, I served as president of the African Methodist Episcopal University Student Union in 2001 as a young student, graduate. I also served as the first president of the AME University Alumni Association. I also served as the president of the Greater Monrovia Lions Club, which is an offspring of Lions International, the biggest charitable organization in the world. I served recently and continue to do as instructor at the African Methodist Episcopal University, teaching business policy and strategy, and also at the United Methodist University. Function of the Ministry of Public Works. What is its function? The Act establishing the Ministry of Public Works makes it responsible to design, construct, rehabilitate, supervise, improve, and maintain highways, bridges, roads, streets, airports, seaports, and other public facilities. That is, the Ministry of Public Works is involved with horizontal and vertical construction. The ministry has 3 departments: technical services, community services and rural development, and administration, human resource, and personnel welfare development. I'm very passionate about this because I know to get job done, you must work with and through people. As it stands at the Ministry of Public Works, the Human Resource Division has reported that we have 635 employees, 517 male, 118 female. Staff includes inclusive staff, 557, civil 78, contractors, consultants, and 25 directors. The current total annual wage bill at the Ministry of Public Works is $3.3 million. Of course, this is something that we need to study. There's an urgent need to review the payroll to answer the following questions. For example, who gets what? Is the wage bill equitably distributed based on qualification and competence? Who are those who are called contractors and consultants? Honorable Senators, if you can agree with me, highly motivated employees will be ready to make sacrifices, especially when it is required by the Ministry of Public Works to supervise projects. Our goal is to increase the morale and motivate employees so that they're able to yield the best outcome and reduce absenteeism, increase performance level, and also be ready to work under strenuous conditions. Training and capacity building at the Ministry of Public Works will be a priority, and that is something that I performed when I was Deputy Minister for Administration at the Ministry of Public Works. Financial management, procurement. In an effort to ensure fiscal prudence at the Ministry of Public Works, the Ministry is charged with the responsibility to prepare and execute an approved budget by the legislature in line with the Public Financial Management Act of 2009, the PPCC Act of 2010. If I'm confirmed as Minister of Public Works, I will encourage financial management control to execute effective budget administration to ensure transparency and accountability. This effort exactly will safeguard the resources against the abuse of our resources, which champion the fight against corruption. We will enforce Procurement Committee in strict compliance with the PPCC Act, and also the Budget Committee with strict compliance with the Public Financial Management Act to ensure financial prudence. Contribution of the Ministry of Public Works to the national budget. Building a tax compliance culture, the Ministry will ensure guidance to educate the public on the level of compliance required for one to issue construction permits and other permits. A period will be given for the public to comply with standards before we launch this enforcement. The Ministry will work alongside with the National Police to enforce compliance of being in possession of permit before commencing any construction. We will strengthen the institutional capacity of the zoning division to enhance effective revenue mobilization and improve non-tax revenue collection from permits and certificates. A special task force will be trained and deployed to conduct compliance audit and identify violators. Over the past 6 years, the ministry generated $2,069,000 as its contribution to the national budget. I believe the ministry has the capacity to increase or double said amount. Overview of the national road network infrastructure. Recent studies have shown that the inventory conducted by the Ministry of Public Works in 2019 recorded Liberia to have 13,000 kilometers of roads across the country in all categories, primary, secondary, and rural roads. Out of this amount, 8.7%, which is just 1,440 kilometers of this road network are paved, which is primary. The primary road constitute 18% of the entire road network, of which 23% of the primary and major roads are paved. 77% are unpaved. That's a huge amount. Additionally, about 36% of the primary or major roads are in good condition. This is due to the fact that primary road network is predominantly characterized, most of them are not lateral, but asphalt, and majority also lateral. There are only 72 kilometers of paved road out of the 2,500 of secondary roads. That's a huge amount, 72 out of 2005. While 12 kilometers out of 7,500 of the feeder roads, a lot to be done. Maintenance work on lateral road across the country has been done by the government to see that, and they completed the amount of 895 kilometers of feeder roads across the country. An additional of 220.8 kilometers of feeder roads under procurement for rehabilitation and periodic maintenance should be taking place in Bapulu, Bom, Grand Basin, Mount, Grand Cape Mount, Nimba, Lofa, and Rangita counties. Our bridge condition in our road network. The inventory condition data for bridges and culverts was collected through a survey by the Bridge Unit at the Ministry of Public Works in 2016. Out of 2,448 bridges, 432 bridges were found to be in excellent condition. That is appalling. A total of 7,593 culverts have been also inventoried, and out of that, more than 50% of concrete pipe culverts, box culverts, and other culverts are in excellent condition, whereas 30% of the corrugated pipe culverts are found to be in bad condition. That means we have road corridors that we need to do rail bridges. Some of our road corridors are occupied by logs bridges. Let me give an overview of the road fund, which is very key to our development agenda in terms of raising domestic revenue for supporting our road infrastructure. The Road Fund Act of 2016, Section 2.43 states that the authority approved by the government to collect user charges shall transfer the fund to the fund account as defined in the Act. The law contradicts the PFME law of 2009, which also states that all government revenue must be deposited into the consolidated account. This has led to loss of the road fund revenue that should have been remitted directly to the escrow or funds account. This is just one example of the ambiguities in the law that we need to correct to ensure transparency and accountability in the administration of the fund. And Honorable Senator, I believe the Road Fund Act should be revisited, especially for the movement of funds from where generated into the escrow account as established by law. The National Road Fund was operationalized using just only one source, road user charge collected from fuel levy. The other form of road user charges, vehicle registration, driver licenses, foreign vehicle entry levy fees, and charges to vehicle users rates up to 50 million that we are able to optimize or put into operationalization the other sources, to include also setting up toll stations on some of our major corridors. And that's something that the Road Fund will do. The Road Fund is something that I was involved with in 2015-16, and I believe it is a good domestic financial architecture to raise resources for investment in the road corridor. Report has also shown that the remittance are between 45 to 93% from the Ministry of Finance and LRA to the road fund. I think as a country, we have not been sincere to ourselves. The road fund is established exclusively for road maintenance and road rehabilitation, and I think we should do that. My strategy, or our strategy as a ministry for investment in road infrastructure. Road remains a critical infrastructure for development of our country. This is why the government arrest agenda highlights road as a major catalyst to drive economic prosperity. The availability of quality road network will unlock the potential of both agriculture and other industries such as tourism and spur economic growth and development across the country. Our administration will adopt a strategic approach to attract the needed resources. Our road network investment program will focus on these areas: road investment to include construction, rehabilitation, maintenance of existing and new roads. Sustainable efforts will be focused on roads, bridges, accident load control management, toll system, and I'm emphasizing toll system, road safety, and institutional reform. We'll focus on outlining the institutional policy to improve management efficiency in the sector. We will reinforce appropriate investment in roads and bridges to expand access across the country, which we are doing. We'll continue the pavement of highways connecting county capitals to create access to the region and other places. We'll pave highways that connect Liberia to neighboring countries, which is part of what we call the Trans-West African Highway. We'll continue to construct and upgrade secondary and feeder roads where majority of our road network are. And this will enhance farmers' access to local market and sustainable agricultural development. Yes. Finalizing the establishment of the National Road Fund to have oversight, the National Road Authority. Let me say that again. We will finalize the establishment of the National Road Authority. This is something that I was involved with, and I think it's good to have a National Road Authority to focus only on the construction, rehabilitation, and maintenance of our road network. We will ensure and continue to ensure accountability in the road fund management to bring back donors' confidence to put funds into the road fund. And I think this is a good way of raising resources of contracting concessional loan, domestic way which is not tied to any payback. It will be something that I think we should do, and the road fund is a good architecture for that. So, the 100-day deliverable. This is the approach. President Ambassador Joseph Yuma Waka made a public announcement that upon taking office, his government will invest in a road project that will ensure no vehicle gets stuck in the mud within primary road corridors during the rain season. This policy statement we are committed to, and have anchored our methodology on the following strategic approach. 1, there will be a full engineering assessment within the corridor, all primary corridors, and the focus will be on critical spot. The intent is to bring critical spot up to pliability with the rest of the corridor. 2, there will be revision of all contracts that are existing in those corridors to be sure there were performance and that those contracts met the basic requirement, PET law. We will redeploy or reactivate contracts where possible after these reviews, and they're already taking place. We ensure that there are logistics available for project engineers at the Ministry of Public Works to be assigned in this corridor. The intent is to also hire contractors with the technical and financial competence proven to provide such service, because we know to be able to deliver on that in the next 30 days, it means you must have competence with the capacity. So we're going for competence with the capacity. Our engineering approach will focus on applying borders where possible in those corridors And we also do bush clearance, reshipping, compassion. We apply new materials where possible. We also do roadside dredging and cleaning, which also hampers drainage system and is able to create problem for deterioration of the corridor. We also get involved technically with some of the overhanging trees that are on the carriageway. Just by that, they also affect the corridor. For procurement, the contracting method, we're going to use what you call the output-based contracting method. That means the contractors are not just going to use quantity in the different corridors. They're going to be responsible for the corridor over a period, and the output of the contract is no car gets stuck in the mud. So the way we pay contractors in this corridor afterward will be, during the rains, the corridor must remain pliable. That means the contractors will have to keep a gang in the corridor with equipment throughout. And our engineers will monitor these corridors also to make sure no guy gets stuck in the mud. If car does get stuck in the mud, the intent is to also, the formula in the contract will be to reduce the payment. So there will be a reduction on payment for the quantity of cars getting stuck in the mud. We're developing the contracts in that way. For procurement, the procurement method we're looking to use, of course, will be restrictive, which will allow us to do it quicker or single source. And by the procurement law, single source and restrictive billing are legal. And so we will avail ourselves to the procurement, the PPCC, and make sure we can do that in the next 2 weeks, if I'm confirmed by this body. Alley opening. The 100-day deliverable, President Barker is also concerned about the congestion in our cities, where people are below. Okay. Thank you. So there will be alleys opening up in different communities across Monrovia and other cities in the 100 days. We'll also institute drainage cleaning system. When I was at the Ministry of Public Works, we did drainage cleaning system every year before the rain season, and that helped with flooding that would create disaster in our communities. The road fund will also be something that we're going to look at. We're going to ensure that we're able to bring more resources to the road fund. The intent is to re-engage the European Union, which was very key in providing feasibility studies on some of our corridors. Gabriel Tucker Bridge to Bowater side, Buchanan into Cester City, into Mount Barkley, which is part of the coastal highway. We're definitely going to do that. We're also going to look for joint venture expenditures in terms of how we're able to support investment in our road sector. We'll look for private investors. We're going to do PPP, which can also be done to be able to bring resources, and that is where the toll system will be used. Fellow senators, I'm excited to be here today, and thank you for having me. To close on this presentation, I would like to give special recognition to my late father, and today is his birthday. Happy birthday, Dad. Also to my mom, who has been so well to me in terms of discipline and everything that I know today, my education and everything. Mama, wherever you are, thank you. So my family and friends that are here, thank you. To my darling wife on my left hand, she has been the soul of my strength. Thank you, Mrs. Giddings. Honorable Senator, may God continue to bless our country as we begin this journey to national recovery. I thank you.
Minister, bless the next.
We have listened to you. I can assure you that the senators who are here understand the subject matter very well. We went through it several times. I will now ask my colleagues who came when you were speaking to introduce themselves.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, and Senator Prince K. Moy of Palm County.
Joseph Olago Pato Jala.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues present in this hearing. My name is Momo Cyrus. I come from local county center. Again, it's important to note that I'm a member of this committee. Thank you.
I am nominated T.H. Batewa. I represent the people of the Rain Group.
My name is Wellington Chief of State, represent River Society in the Senate.
Okay. I'm James Bynum from Maryland. Southeast. Thank you. I will now invite the senators to either make comments, ask questions. You have 10 minutes for your question and response. I will now invite Senator McGill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Protein Emeritus. The nominee, I listened to your qualification. And my understanding, you have worked with the Ministry of Public Works, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
When were you employed at the Ministry of Public Works, and how long you were working for?
So I was appointed as Deputy Minister in 2014 for administration at the Ministry of Public Works. So from 2014 to 2018, January.
4 years. Am I correct to say that most of the contracts that were signed between that period you are fully in the know? Most of the companies was public?
Of course, contracts that were signed within that period, yes, because the procurement committee was a committee that was part of, yes.
Are you aware of any contract that was signed in 2017 to do asphalt pavement? Concrete asphalt pavement?
Okay, so asphalt pavement or concrete or rigid pavement?
Rigid pavement.
Rigid pavement. Yes, of course, yes, I was.
Do you know some of the companies that were given such contracts?
Yes, of course.
Can you name 2 or 3?
Well, okay, it was one company, and it was East International.
What year was it?
Actually, I think 2017. Yes, and that's to do rigid pavement, community road.
What was the value of the contract?
The contract, I will remember off my head, but I think the value was anywhere around 50-something million, and that was also included also the Jelly Joar Road and other communities in Mongolia. Yes.
Was that in the contract?
But there was an initial contract, but in 2017, that was the only contract I remember. Yes.
You know a contract that was signed by Dream Move with East International amounted to $19.5 million.
Yes, that contract was prior to the other contract I spoke about. Yes, it was a pilot project, but it was not 2017.
Come again?
It was not 2017.
For letter, yeah, it was 2017 January.
No, it was a pilot project, Senator.
Pilot project with $20 million pilot project?
Yeah, it was to do 3 community roads. I know it was engineered by the engineering department. It was to do 3 community roads. So the roads were the Smart Road, the Timber Village Road, and the road behind BTC. And that was the pilot project.
So that was 20 million, correct?
Yeah.
So after 20 million, you get either another $7 million contract, correct?
Okay, so we didn't get each one, the contract through the procurement process, went to the PPCC, sanctioned by the PPCC chair by Dabajada. So the contract was awarded procurement by the procurement process.
So it's not a legitimate contract, correct?
Oh yes, of course. They have legitimate contracts.
So they have to get back to the road, correct?
To do
Excuse me, please. Excuse me, please.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, please. Please. Those of you in the gallery, if you continue, we ask you to leave.
The Ministry of Public Works is not a political ministry. We know we are a technical ministry. If you continue your noise, I will get the chairman permission. We'll ask you to leave the gallery. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. You know, it's good for a little bit of clarification, because I want to go with that East just got contract in 2019. So in 2017, when someone not even in government, you get his contract for almost $20 million. Is that correct?
They were water contract through the bidding process, competitive bidding process, yes.
Okay, so let me ask you, Mr. Minister, what is the Liberia, as the Minister designate, Liberia road system for the last 100 years? Since I've been knowing myself, we've been doing road, after road, over and over. And every time the reason kind of road is destroyed, why do you think it's a problem? Why do you think it's been led to that, or it leads to that?
Okay, so if it's on lateral road, which was a dirt road, one of the reasons that I think that has happened, especially of recent years, the way the maintenance were done was not like I'm trying to do now, to do the maintenance based on performance. It was like you decide for a contractor to do a particular work within a period. And so when they go onto the corridor, if it's a 50-kilometer corridor, they get the work done. You don't do proper compaction test to make sure the road is compacted properly. The drain is done, not very okay. And so in my mind, right after a rain season, the road should deteriorate. So we should move beyond that, giving contractors contracts for periods.
You think there's no idea for continue spending money on lateral road every year? Okay, maybe $10 million, $20 million for the road, and then again go by again, get a cement or $20 million to the road.
Okay, so it's not a good idea, but the current condition, because we do not have, we need almost to pay for our road $5 to $6 billion.
What do you think? How many kilometers of road can a $10 million US million do an asphalt? How many kilometers of road?
Okay, 10 million currently. You could maximize, if you go through a competitive bidding process with $10 million, you could get up to 12, 13 kilometers of road with that. From a competitive process, you can get up to 12, 13 kilometers with $10 million.
You think it would be a good idea for to change our road construction methodology to asphalt pavement with a small amount of resources? You think it would be a good thing?
Well, I just say
continue with the, I mean primary road now. I'm talking about secondary road because secondary road are too many. But primary road, you do just continue with the the dead pavement.
Okay, so we shouldn't. I would say we seal our roads. We received about 2,500.
What is your current knowledge on the road from Ganta to Harbour? What is your current knowledge?
So I can say to you, citizens, that we have funding currently to cover the entire stretch up to River G. All right. So from Ganta to Saklipi, we already have a contractor doing work there, and that's paid for by the government out of the road fund. And let me commend the last government for initiating that project. That's 39 kilometers up to Saklipi. It's been done already by SICO. From Saklipi to Tapeta, we have Channel River 7, the same company that's constructing the road from Sanikoli to Lokato, which is part of the Trans-African Highway. So that corridor is covered. They're working currently. From Tapeta to Tostown is about 40 kilometers. SICO just won the project under the SECRET, the Southeastern Corridor Road Access Management Project. We initiated that project in 2015. So SICO just won the contract to do the 40 kilometers, and they will be mobilizing hopefully by July. They're waiting for what you call the biodiversity studies. The bank thing, that place is occupied by a lot of chimpanzees.
Okay, so
I agree with you. Yeah. And so from Tostown to Zwedru to the border, there's this project you call the Rural Economic Transformation Project under the agriculture. It's called RETRAP. They've put out resources for that corridor. So right now, they've done all the bidding documents. The procurement process was to start. So I can safely say by the end of July, you will have contractors on the entire corridor up to Zoeju working. Beyond Zoeju, currently, Chico is working from Fishtown up to Kilibo Kawikian. They added another, it's about 31 kilometers. They're working. We have 100 kilometers left. They already concluded African Development Bank to fund from Kilibo to Johnstown, which is 50 kilometers. The fund is available. The procurement process was to start, and the board has finally agreed on the balance 48 kilometers up to Zoeju. So we can safely say by 2028 to 2029, if all of us work together, and I'm saying all of us, the executive and the legislature, because some of these financing agreements have to come to you. And the faster we're able to rectify them for the approval of disbursement meeting the precondition, we can draft to happen by 2028, 2029.
When we saw these things, we have problems right now.
Yes.
Only everything costs.
Except on the other side. Except on the other side.
Until the pavement has taken place.
So, okay, let me ask you. Can you tell me, all the roads have been built in Liberia? Can you tell me, no, two more questions, can you tell me which one of the roads, can you name 3 of the best roads in Liberia?
Okay,
in terms
so
of construction.
Yeah.
In terms of construction.
Well, so you want to put me in trouble a little bit, Senator. I'll try to do so. I think the Japan Freeway is one of the best roads. And the reason why it is because from what you call the subgrade, that is from the foundation of the road, up to the base, the sub-base, up to the base coast. The Japanese, believe in quality and high standard. Majority of what they used were aggregate. They did not use a lot of lateral. So the foundation of that road is very, very strong. That road could last us for almost 7,500 years if we maintain it. And we haven't experienced any pothole ever since the road was built. But what we need to do is to continue with maintenance. And just the grass and the bush that comes onto the road to stop the water from going off the road. Asphalt does not like water sitting on it because once it stays on it and there's pressure to that, you can easily find some of the road deteriorating. So these are some of the good roads we have in the country.
I have more questions for my last question. You think it's a good idea that we do what we call, I know we call it project identification, road project identification. Say for instance, we allocate resources to the project so we can do the assess and evaluate whether or not the roads are done. You think it would be a good idea? Then they're giving you bulk amount and say probably way up 100 million we'll spend it on any road. It would be a good thing for the legislature to identify the road along with public way and say, these are the roads we want to do in 2027, in 2024. These are the roads we want to do. Then we'll allocate resources that at the end of the day we'll get an assessment to say, okay, we told public way to do 10 roads, 10 major roads. We get maybe road rehabilitation or identify 10 major roads. These are the roads we want to do. It not be a good idea, but the legislature will do.
Okay, since Public Works is the ministry responsible for identifying roads that should be built, yes, Public Works should do that. You're talking about project budget, and that's like the medium-term expenditure framework, identifying roads and making sure the resources are available, and hold the ministry responsible for completion. I would agree. I think it's a very good idea for us to begin doing that. So this year, you said we identify 10 kilometers that must be paved, and the money or the resources are made available to the Ministry of Public Works. You can now hold Public Works accountable because the resources was made available through the budget. I do agree. That is project-based. I do agree.
Thank you. Gentlemen.
Chairman, thank you. Honorable Minister of Destiny, I heard my colleague, Senator Mangio, ask you a question concerning the Southeastern Corridor and explain. But I want to ask, do you believe bad road condition is a security threat? Also, do you believe that bad road condition?
I do believe it is a threat to security.
Okay.
All the security, economic, health, and this.
Very good. Question I want to ask you. Yes, I agree in the future about 2029, 2027, 2028, 2026, we might get a paved road from Tabata to Grand Gilead to Maryland to River G to San. I agree. Or what do we do within that time? As you speak, by April, from Tabata, immediately rain season, from Tabata to Zredru, the road cut off, and believe me, 1 bag of cement, the price will go up to $25 because of road condition. Bag of rice will go up to $4,000. Gasoline, gallon of gasoline or fuel, to about $3,000. At the end, I will go suffer. So, as far will come in the next 3, 4, 5 years, what will we do? They come in dry season or they come in rain season for our people. At least the $600 they buy gasoline and fuel for that price will be maintained. The $2,000 they buy rice for that price will be maintained until another dry season. As a minister of designate, if confirmed, what you think the Southeastern or other counties like Bapuru, River G, how do you think our people will enjoy a new policy like the president is going to bring for us in the other days? Are you sure that our people are not going to suffer the kind of racism? I want it to be clear to the public.
Thank you, Honorable President. When I was presenting, I laid out what's going to happen on the day. Ambassador Walker, President Ambassador Walker, announced that no car will start in the morning. If I'm to be confirmed as the Minister of Public Works, I'm challenged with that responsibility. We've already started laying out what we will do. That corridor will be taken care of before the rains. We are committed to that. The corridor from Tapeta up to Zredru will be taken care of. The corridor from Zredru up to Kilibo will be taken care of. The corridor from Salaye up to Vanjima will be taken care of. Vanjima to Minikoma to Foya will be taken care of. Grand Bassel, Chester Junction, ITI, Greenville will be taken care of.
I heard you.
Will be taken care of.
Minister of Destiny, I heard you saying you will have the people on the highway monitoring the contractors, right? If Soper is going to grant you in Slaton, and I guess probably not more, they will not be paid, right?
Yeah, we're going to develop the contract.
Okay.
Take note.
Okay, beside the contractor, those who supervise the contractor and the head of the ministry, what should be a consequence for you guys too?
Okay, so the conditions that we lay out in the contract, the contractors will agree with the conditions. So it's almost like once they go contrary to that, what punishment they have on them each lay out in the contract will be what we apply. So if we do not apply it, then we can be held responsible. But our intent would be not to get to the point where we and the contractors are alone, but to provide the leadership required. And that leadership would mean we have to be who we should be as ministers assigned or project engineers assigned to the project. So I'm not saying that would not happen, but if it do, what we said based on the contract will be applied.
Thank you. Do you believe, we have that mental in Liberia, we have that understanding when new government comes in, the old official or employee at the ministerial agency, some of them will want to leave, or the new administration will say, this is our time. Do you believe as a professional person, former deputy minister of administration, all employments at the time pass through your office before HR? Do you believe the numbers that you're naming now to all is a lot of people working in the department? Are they qualified for this new administration of the team there, or are you going to do the same old like where we put other people out and bring other people in?
Well, again, I think what we have to do is to do, audit, of course, credential audit, just to be sure of the people that are in certain positions, because there are certain competence required for you being in certain positions. So we do some credential audit just to be sure. But when I was appointed as Deputy Minister of the Ministry of Public Works with Minister Moore, we did not just move people around, no. Especially when those people were competent in the position. We left them and we worked with them. And the thing about my personality, I know how to get people to work. I know how to motivate people to work. And so for me, once the competence is there, we do that. And even if it's not at the level, we provide training. We have a lot of people when we are at the Ministry of Public Works that got several trainings. In fact, some of them were in China, different countries, and they got trained because of what we did. So we're not just going to go start moving people around. No, we don't want to do that. So that would be something that we will do.
Honorable Minister Destiny, another question. Do you believe the Rotterdam Bridge through Vietnam is a national highway? Before I come to my statement, do you believe that from Rotterdam Bridge to all the way to Allies, a national highway?
It's a deplorable national highway.
Very good. Thank you. The reason I'm asking you the question, now by the grace of God, it's confirmed by the Senate, Minister of Destiny. When will you do? Companies that took millions of dollars from our taxpayers to construct that road, to do rehabilitation on our road. Up to now, $3.7 million US went in poor pockets for the past 2-3 years. Just that 6-mile road cannot be fixed. If confirmed, what will you tell this committee and plenary or the laboratory in the next 20 to 25 days about a particular international highway from Rotterdam Bridge went all the way to Freetown? Let's believe it's a national highway. And a company went through the bidding process. We agreed, went and grabbed the taxpayer money for the past 3 to 4 years. They're using the money in different projects for their own personal advertisement, and the laboratory are suffering going through the bar road. What will you do if confirmed in the next few hours or next week to come? What will you do?
So it's not just that corridor. There are several corridors where contract was awarded, whether competitively or not, but they were awarded. We will do an audit on all the contracts if I'm confirmed as minister. Come back to the committee with the report of what the audit says. On that corridor, I know the Japanese are committed to rehabilitate from Rotterdam Bridge to Freeport. In fact, hopefully by next week, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, if we signing on the grant agreement, and that grant agreement should be used to finance that corridor. I know there was a contract awarded from Freeport up to Simple Bridge. We will investigate the contract and see what that contract is. And if that contract has not started, which I don't think it has started in a significant way, and it's proven, the contractor will start it. Trust me. But not just that. Any other project from the matter of fact, I think that will happen. So that will be looking okay very soon. Take that for me. I promise you.
Thank you. With my 1 minute, I want to tell you that you're a professional person. You worked at the ministry before, and I know you know what to do. So if confirmed by this committee, I know you'll do your best. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Mr. Lomini, in your presentation, you said you serve as president of various areas. I hope you serve as president for the Ministry of Public Works, if confirmed. Now to my question, because you have almost answered all the questions in your presentation. But you said something about the companies with the capacities. So we got some Liberian engineers, contractors that have few trucks or few equipments. And we got the foreigners that have large equipment. So I want to understand from you, what capacity are you speaking about?
Okay, so on each of capacity, there's a category of contractors, and that's why the Ministry of Public Works, we have A category, B, and C, and that is in line with the technical capacity. That means the kind of staff we have that are engineers who can do road works, the equipment that they have, put them in certain categories. So it's not just because you're a Liberia company, for example, then you are in category A when you do not meet the basic requirement. So if you have all of the requisite requirements, you get yourself in that category. So when I say technical capacity, this is what I'm talking about. That, so for example, a 50-kilometer road could be awarded to a company that has equipment, say 2 sets of equipment, okay? The basic pieces of equipment. So the person has a motor grader, they have front end loader, trucks, backhoe, excavator, just the basic pieces of equipment that we use to do roads. They have that. We put them in the category of such kilometers. A 100-kilometer road, for example, will require different sections. So you need more equipment to get the work done. So there's category. When I say technical capacity, I'm talking about a category based on the kilometer of road that they will be doing. So a Liberian company will have capacity to do certain work at that level. But you can take a 100-kilometer road and give it to a company, not only a Liberian company, even a foreign company that has not demonstrated to have both the technical and financial capacity. You can award. In fact, all of my administration, you will win the contract because you get disqualified before you get into the bid by the fact that you do not have the requisite requirement to be a participant in that contract.
I understand it because we don't want to be spectator in our own country. You know, I told you before that you gave me all my answers. As you have called Bapo's name in the presentation, I'm satisfied. But then, when you answer the question to my colleague that you will do audits on credentials, I don't think that is sufficient. You should do audit on corruption too. That's my advice to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, so much for the opportunity. Like I said, my name is Momo Cyrus. I happen to be a member of this committee. Mr. Nominee. Welcome, Mike. Good afternoon, Mr. Nominee. Good afternoon, sir. I've known you for quite a long time, and I know that the president did not make a mistake to have you appointed in this very important position. Do you have the temperament, the zest, and the ability to manage this very important ministry called the Ministry of Public Works?
Yes, I do. And I like to, just give it up to Minister Moore, Judy Moore, served as Deputy Minister for Administration. He gave me the opportunity to run the ministry. And the people know me. When I'm serious, and they know I'm serious. So yes, I have the temperament to work with people. I'm a people person, but I have very strong principles that I don't easily bend. And so, but that's okay. I like that. Thank you. In your presentation, you talk about contracts reviews and audit. I was glad when we heard that because I happen to represent the people of Lower County, one of the counties that have a deplorable road condition. And one of my campaign messages was that road between Saturday to Vonderman or to Mancoma
under our regime as senator has to be paid. We will do everything possible. We will negotiate with government. We will sit with you. We will talk to international partners. Make sure that road is paid. I have had an experience. I did my own investigation of contractors presently on the road, rehabilitating the road.
And the reason I'm saying I like the question because that question is me. When I was the Minister of Public as Deputy Minister for Administration, and I always recognize Minister who gave me the opportunity to manage that affects contracts and road works. It's not going to happen in my administration. If any minister, deputy, assistant, whoever get involved in that, consider yourself in trouble. I did that before and I will do it again. And let me say that this is one of the problems in the sector. It's corruption. People don't talk about it, but yes. And the contractors will not refuse because, and that is why it's good for us to institute competitive bidding process. When a project is competitive, it takes away all of those issues. When it's negotiated, that is where you have kickbacks. And my point is, let's stick with the procurement law. Let's stick with what the PMM law says. That takes away all of what you're talking about. And if that happens, people get in trouble. But I'm the person who thinks corruption has hurt this country, and we should continue to fight it. And I'm going to be another person who will do that, because I did that. I said on the procurement method, we are going to do restricted bidding, which will cut the procurement time, or single source. We have a contractor already working in our corridor, a very large contractor that has the capacity. I know there are 2 contractors in our corridor between Salary up to Bonjima, and they have not done any work. We will have to just remove them and see if we can extend a company that has the capacity. It is doable, because once the president said in 100 days, no cars will get stuck in the mud. I think the first road should be on the Lofa Road. If we get stuck on the Lofa Road, then that is a problem. So we definitely want to get to that. And the intent will be to deal with the critical spot, to bring the road up to pliability, even if it's not perfect in terms of the carriageway. Yes, we will.
Okay, so another issue dealing with the Lofa Road have been almost all the highways in Liberia. I see driving from Monrovia to Buchanan smooth. I see driving from Monrovia to Ganta Sankwe smooth. But I see another, I would say, graded road from St. Paul Bridge to Sally. I mean, the roads, if you look at the grill, the structure, it's a different structure. How do we get to that? Is it that the people from Monrovia to Counthouse up to Saniquity, the road's better than the road from the seaport to Sani? Why that? What's the differences in the grade of the roads being constructed?
Abu Dhabi, all of them came together open to support that project. We are happy that they did that. Those who also have issue with that, because it is one layer, it's not double layer. That's the problem, and it was designed like that. So I said we have to take responsibility as a government and put a second layer. So from Banga to Salai is one layer. Now going beyond up to Konya, we have to get involved with them and say we can continue with them, though it's concessional, but they provide the money and was designed that way. We're trying to make sure going beyond that, and the African Development Bank is doing another study to finalize from Bonjima up to Minikoma. It's going to be double layer, we'll make sure. But between Banga up to Salai, up to Konya, Bonjima, it's one layer for now, and we can't continue with one layer going forward. That is why you see it like that. It's only one layer and not 2 layers, which will make it look like the other roads that you're talking about. Because I mean, just have the body coast and not a full wiring coast to make it a full asphalt road. So it's one layer.
Thank you. Thank you. One major thing you spoke about that